Hello and welcome to Middle Eastern Thursday. So today it is all about those fragrances that leave a lingering trail that gets you compliments and that most importantly will make others do a double take. They will definitely catch the attention of all of those around you when you are wearing them. They are high compliment getters. They are statement makers. Not all of them are beast mode, but quite a number of them are. These are fragrances that when you want attention, these are the fragrances that you want to pull. I have a total of 18 for you today, so let's go ahead and jump right in because we have quite a bit to cover. But if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and on this channel, we love to talk about all types of fragrances. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go, fam. All right, so the first fragrance is not really one fragrance. It's really a group of 3 fragrances because whenever we talk about this one, we have to pull several. And I am speaking about Paris Corner Bain Al-Azrar, and about Maison Alhambra Decadent Dream, and about Khadlaj Musk Pour Amber. And I wanted to start with these 3 fragrances because what they all have in common, which I'm sure you know if this is not your first round with affordable Middle Eastern fragrances, these 3 fragrances are all allegedly, right? They should remind you of Amouage guidance, not guidance 46, but guidance. And indeed they do. This is not a comparison video, so I'm not going to get into details behind that. But what I can tell you is I've discussed this on the channel so many times, but all of these fragrances have now had a chance to sit in my collection for quite a while. And I can tell you that they truly will remind you of guidance. But at that, the most important part is that just like in the OG, the amount of compliments and the head turning that happens when you wear these fragrances is just absolutely unbelievable. So these are the type of fragrances that will get you chased down without a doubt. So when it comes to Bain Al-Azrar, to me, to date, this is the one that comes the closest to the OG. And the thing about it is that there are quite the number of fam members that do not enjoy nor appreciate guidance because they find it to be a bit too much, a bit screechy at times. And I understand all that, although I absolutely love it. But this is the one that has all of that going on at the same time. Now, when it comes to, and before I get into, what the fragrance is really about, then Musk Pour Amber for me is the smoothest of the versions. It really hashes out and eliminates all those quirks and screechiness that you may pick up in Bain Al-Azrar. And then in the middle, right, like not too much of this side, not too much of that side, you have Decadent Dream. Absolutely beautiful, but all 3 of these fragrances are so special. So let's talk about what you're going to get. So this is a fragrance that is sweet, but it's not very sweet. It is very woody. It is ambery and it is warm spicy. It has quite a bit of frankincense in it. It is very warm spicy. It does have a floral presence to it, but it's really not about the florals. For me, it is all about that spiciness of the fragrance with a very strong woody backdrop. Now, the florals that you're going to pick up here are rose and osmanthus, and I can't recall, but I'm pretty sure that there's others. I'm pretty sure that there's jasmine in here, but it's quite the mix. It's a floral bouquet, but again, while the fragrance does have a floral presence to it, to me, it is more about the warm, spicy quality of the fragrance on a backdrop of woody notes with a good bit of vanilla, not excessive, but the vanilla is definitely there. And at the dry down, the scent is sweet, powdery, and ambery. That is basically what you're going to get. But the biggest part of this scent profile is the amount of compliments you're going to get. People will be chasing you down. You will be somewhere and you will pass a group of people and they will chase you down to to ask you what you're wearing and where they can pick it up. So you can either talk about guidance, or you can tell them about any of these 3 fragrances, because you just can't go wrong. Before we continue, I wanted to make sure that I tell you that the fragrances that I picked today are not fragrances that are new. There's very few exceptions. These are not fragrances that have only been in my collection for like a month. Oh no, most of these have already gone through their entire sitting process. They've been with me for quite a while. I've reviewed all of these fragrances here on the channel with you, and I have featured most of them, if not all, multiple times. But these are truly fragrances that will get you quite a bit of attention. So I wanted to make sure to select a group that I know will definitely do the job. So this next fragrance is one that's not going to come as a surprise for you if you've been with me from the beginning of my affordable Middle Eastern fragrances journey, because there was a time where all I could do was talk about Khadlaj Maison Flor Oud. This fragrance, so this is my second bottle, and I know most of you know that. This fragrance was a true obsession, I would say, during like maybe 8 to 10 months after it was launched and I received it. This fragrance is absolutely incredible. Now here you are going to find a very ambery scent with a very strong floral presence, but at that, the florals that stick out immediately are the orange blossom and the jasmine. In the opening, there is a bit of a citrusy quality to the fragrance, but that's not what the fragrance is about. This is truly about those florals, that ambery quality, and a tad of a warm, spicy quality, where at the dry down, you're not going to pick up on mostly of any of that. What you're going to get is the most exquisite blend, because the beauty of this fragrance and all of the fragrances that were a part of the Khadlaj Maison collection is that the blend is just absolutely exceptional. But when I tell you that the number of compliments that you will get with this, people will definitely want to know what you're wearing. And this is a fragrance that you could make it your signature scent. You could dress it up, you could dress it down for any occasion, any season, any age. Extremely versatile. Absolutely an exquisite fragrance. I know that many of you picked it up, so please share with us in the comments section your thoughts. This next fragrance, of course, is not going to come as a surprise, but there was no way that I could talk about true compliment getters and not pull up Cahier Felicity. So Cahier Felicity, of course, is part of the Paris Corner Cahier collection, and I have to tell you that I think this may be the top seller within that line, because Cahier Felicity is just absolutely exceptional. This is a fragrance that will remind you of that Kayali fragrance, the one that was launched for Mona's wedding. I think, if I recall correctly, wedding silk santal. And this is a fragrance that is absolute perfection. You cannot go wrong with this fragrance. You can use it for any season of the year. Make it your signature scent. Again, dress it up, dress it down. There are some white florals here. There's a very present note of champagne, which I don't necessarily pick up on the scent of champagne anymore. I pick up on the fizziness that may come with it. There's also quite a bit of vanilla here. There is a floral presence, primarily, I would say, within all those florals, I would say more the rose than anything, but the fragrance is really not about the rose. It's really about the entire blend on a very, very present musk base. The musk level here, I would say, is like a level 2 to 3, where 1 is the least and 5 is the most. An absolutely incredible fragrance that will turn heads as soon as you walk into the room. This is not a beast mode. It's not going to announce itself before you even walk into the room, but it is definitely a fragrance that commands attention because of its incredibly exquisite scent. Let us know if you've tried Cahier Felicity and your thoughts. So this next fragrance is a very, very special fragrance, and it's been in my collection from the very beginning of my journey. So it's been over a year. And I have to tell you, this fragrance is just an absolute beauty. And I'm speaking about Paris Corner Emir Rifaqaat. And here is the bottle. Now, this is a fragrance that, for me, it's all about the warm, spicy notes. There are so many spicy notes here. We have, if I recall correctly, some saffron, some black pepper, pink pepper. I mean, there is just a collection of spicy notes surrounded by a very present note of vanilla. But in addition to all that, I have to tell you, it has not been disclosed, but I know there's leather in this fragrance. This is a fragrance that at many times, has been, it should remind you of YSL Baby Cat, and indeed it will. And if you allow it to sit, as long as mine has been sitting, it will definitely bring that fragrance to mind, because it is truly a fragrance that is all about that note of vanilla, the spicy notes, and that very smooth but present leather note. This is a fragrance that I think is best for 25 plus. You can use it for cooler weather. This is not warm weather at all to me. And it is a fragrance that you could make your signature scent because it is quite smooth once you allow it to sit. I do remember that when I picked it up, it did perform well for me immediately, but it was a bit of a powerhouse when it came to certain accords. All in all, the performance is also absolutely exquisite. Let us know if you own or you've tried Rifaqaat. The next fragrance is from one of my favorites, which is Ahmed Al-Maghribi, and this one is Oud and Roses. Here is the beautiful bottle. Now, Oud and Roses, I have to tell you, so this has got to be one of the most beautiful oud and rose fragrances that I have in my entire collection across the board. This oud is so smooth, and the fragrance also has a sweetness that I can't even explain. So if you're familiar with Ahmed Al-Maghribi fragrances, you may recall one of my favorite rose-centric fragrances, which is Bidou Maison. Well, this one does the rose in the same way that he does it in that fragrance, but it adds that note of oud. This fragrance is all about oud and rose. But the thing about it is that it is the type of fragrance that is truly a powerhouse. It will announce itself on days where you want to feel empowered and bold, and you want to make a statement that is totally in your face and unapologetic. This is the fragrance that you want to pull. But for me, this is really a feminine fragrance. This is not masculine. I really can't imagine a gentleman wearing it, because this is such a sweet rose bordering on jammy with that oud, but there is nothing dated about this scent. Let us know if you've tried Oud and Roses from Ahmed Al-Maghribi. What is it that you like about it, that you don't like about it? Anyway, let us know. Now, this next fragrance is one that I talked about so much here on the channel for like an entire year. I was like obsessed with Lattafa's Mashrabiyah. And here is the gorgeous bottle. So this is a fragrance that allegedly should remind you of Phantom by Kilian, if I recall correctly. I may have that wrong, but no, I think so. So this is a fragrance that has a very present apple shisha accord, and you are going to have a very strong smoky quality to the fragrance. This fragrance is not just a beast, okay? This is a sexy beast. It is dense, it is dark, perfection for cooler weather. I would not recommend this for very hot weather, but for cool weather, perfection. Here you're going to have some spicy notes, and you are clearly going to pick up on the note of dates. At the dry down, you're going to get a very beautiful, sweet, fruity with that note of dates and that apple kind of scent going on. It's more of a smoky apple kind of scent with some cinnamon and a good bit of vanilla on a backdrop of like some woodiness, where you're also going to pick up on patchouli. But when I tell you that this is date night, this is, I want to feel and embody being sexy, this is the fragrance. And for me, this is absolutely unisex. This does not lean to the feminine or to the masculine side, but you better be ready for attention, and you better be careful who you wear it around, because this is a no joke pull kind of fragrance. You are going to be seen as very sensually alluring. There is just something about the fragrance that not only makes it addictive, but also makes it a fragrance that is really a sexy beast. Let us know if you've tried Mashrabia, because I know many of you picked it up. And how do you feel about it? How has yours done after it's had a chance to sit? So this next fragrance is from Ahmed Al-Maghribi again. This is a fragrance house that I absolutely love. Just the way and the mastery with which fragrances are created. So this next one is Marge. And there was no way that I would have this conversation about head-turning fragrances and not bring Marge. So Marge is to me the quintessential masterpiece coming out of the house of Ahmed Al-Maghribi. This is a fragrance that there is nothing like it in my collection, and I've never really sniffed anything like it either. It is very special. It is very bold and statement making. It is a powerhouse, and it has a collection of notes. We could go on forever, but let me just tell you. So this is the type of fragrance that if you ask me, Arahi, is it spicy? I'm like, oh yeah, it is definitely spicy. There's some pink pepper, there's some cinnamon, and there's cumin if I recall correctly. Just a collection of spicy notes, and it is warm spicy. Then you may ask me, is it floral? And I would tell you that yes, there are florals here, because this is definitely, there is a floral presence here. Is it woody? Absolutely. It has some sandalwood. So this is the type of fragrance that is going to bring so many different notes together. There's floral notes, spicy notes, woody notes, all types of notes. But at the dry down, at the dry down, you are getting a fragrance with so much personality and character. This is the type of fragrance that I really is best suited for the ages of 30 plus. This is a no-nonsense, self-actualized, in-your-face kind of statement-making scent that will definitely evoke that mood in you, because there is something about this fragrance that also makes it very mood-altering. But at the end of the day, the number of compliments and the attention. This is the type of fragrance that will announce you before you walk into the room. And once you walk in the room, they will know that you were the one that left that lingering scent throughout the hallway before you arrived to the room or the event room where you are. But this is a conversation piece. This is a fragrance that people will want to order while you're standing right there. It doesn't matter where you wear it to, it will command attention. This next fragrance, this fragrance is, when I tell you, if you do not want attention, do not wear this fragrance. This fragrance is incredible. And this one is from Khadlaj, and it is Le Prestige Empress. And look at this gorgeous, gorgeous bottle. So Le Prestige Empress is a fragrance that has been compared, or that so many have said reminds them of two fragrances that I absolutely love and that I own. One is from Sospiro, and it is Vibrato, and the other one is from Bulgari, and it is Tigar, which I own and was my signature scent for years. This fragrance is, I have compared it for you here on the channel, but I just want to say that don't even focus on that, but focus on the mastery of this scent. Beautifully, beautifully done. And at that, what I tell you, the most impressive part of wearing this fragrance is the level of attention you're going to get. Wherever you step into, you will turn heads. They will want to know who just walked into the room, or who just walked into the store, or who just passed by them at the mall. It is an attention. It turns heads. It gets you attention. It accommodates you. You will get preferential treatment at certain places, like at a restaurant waiting for seating, because the scent is a conversation piece that will endear you to others. An absolutely beautiful fragrance that, if you haven't tried, you really need to get your nose on. This fragrance is all about the note of bergamot and ginger. It is a little bit green. It is sweet, but not very sweet. It has some woody notes. It has patchouli. It has a floral presence, but it's really not much about those florals. It's really more, again, about the bergamot and the ginger, and that freshness that, while being fresh, is not a freshie, that is more like warm, spicy. I can't even explain this fragrance. All I know is that the scent is beautiful, but the level of attention, it just makes you feel very, very special. Let us know if you've tried it. I know many of you picked it up, and How do you feel about it now that it's been sitting for a while? So the next fragrance that I have for you is from Maison Alhambra, and this one is Baroque Satin Oud. And here is the gorgeous, gorgeous bottle. So this is a fragrance that as soon as you sniff it, will remind you of Maison Francis Kurkdjian Oud Satin Mood for sure. There have been many fragrances that have been launched that allegedly should remind you of that fragrance, but this is the one that I really prefer. This is an absolutely beautiful, extremely ambery with a very present note of rose and oud kind of scent. That's what this is about. That's all it is about. Rose, oud, and definitely a very ambery quality fragrance that is perfection for the fall and winter season and the opening of spring. I would not wear this on a warm day whatsoever. It would be like anticlimactic. I don't think it would choke you or others around you, but it's just not a fit because the fragrance has like a cozy vibe to it that I can't even explain. What I do know is that when you wear it, which by the way, you can wear it to just about anywhere for any occasion, day or night. I would not go to the gym with this, but hey, do whatever you want, when you want, and how you want. But for me, this is a fragrance that is perfection for just about any occasion during cool weather. It is a very, very elegant fragrance that is going to get you a ton of attention without being beast necessarily. The performance is very, very good because it'll exceed the 8-hour mark, don't get me wrong, but this is not a fragrance that's going to announce itself from outside the room before you even walk in. But that is where its beauty resides because while being smooth and beautiful with that oud and that rose, it is a fragrance that will get you all types of compliments. Typically, people will say that you smell so beautiful if you're a lady, or what an elegant and sophisticated kind of scent for a gentleman. Very, very beautiful fragrance. Let us know if you've had the opportunity to try it. I haven't talked about this one in quite a while, but it is an exceptional fragrance that will definitely get you compliments. So there's only about 3 fragrances in today's lineup that I pulled and that are recent, let's say maybe within the last year, because they are so exceptional, and the number of compliments and the amount of attention that they command whenever you wear them, really, there was no way that I was not going to include them in this lineup. And this next one, I talk about this one all the time. And this is from Swiss Arabian, and this is Tobacco 01. Tobacco 01 is a fragrance that I am still to this day speechless at how incredible this fragrance is. This is all about a incredibly done note of tobacco where the tobacco is not very dry, it's kind of moist. So while you're going to get that very present, because it is very present tobacco note, there is a level of sweetness because there's some fruitiness to it. The scent at the dry down is really not fruity. It has the note of plum and it has the note of honey. And what you're going to get at the dry down is like a tobacco that is not a dry tobacco that has been sprinkled with like a very realistic honey note that is not funky in any way and is just absolutely realistic. Very, very nicely done. Very, very beautiful fragrance. But the scent is a conversation piece, because once you say that you're wearing Tobacco 01 and let's say you're in a group of ladies, oh, they're all going to be shocked because the scent itself does not speak to a dry tobacco and overpowering tobacco and obnoxious tobacco. No, this is a very beautiful scent. But the interesting part is that although it is perfection for a lady, it is also perfection for a gent, because this is just an incredibly unisex, beautiful scent. Let us know if you tried Tobacco 01 and have you gotten a lot of compliments? Is it a conversation piece? Do people pay attention? Do they turn around to see who walked in when you're wearing this fragrance? Let us know. So this next fragrance is one that whenever I've discussed it here on the channel, and I have featured it so many times because number one, it's been in my collection for a very long time. Number two, from the beginning, the one thing that impressed me about it is the amount of attention that it commands. And this one is from Asdaf, and this is Majd al Sultan. Now, Majd Al Sultan is a fragrance that really, really impressed me because the first time I tried it on skin, I immediately realized that it was a very spicy centric, like spicy notes centric kind of fragrance that also had a very, very strong smoky quality to it. But by the end of the day of trying this fragrance, I was totally addicted to it. And I used it for a very, very long time continuously. I was so addicted to this fragrance that we finished the winter season and the spring, and I tried to use it during a summer day. That was not a good idea because this fragrance is really all about the fall, winter, and opening of spring. This is really cool weather. This fragrance is a very ambery fragrance with a very strong tobacco note. It is very smoky and also spicy. This is a fragrance that I have worn to the supermarket, and I've had people stop me, in an aisle, chase me down literally to ask me what I am wearing because I was at the deli and they were standing next to me and they couldn't stop sniffing me. And I can tell because they keep looking at me, and I assume immediately I've learned that maybe it's my scent. This is the type of fragrance you will be chased down by. And the interesting thing is that wearing it as a lady is very interesting because this is really a unisex fragrance. It's not like the scent speaks to feminine at all, at all. If anything, this may be a fragrance that may lean a tad to the masculine side. But at that, it is a fragrance that is a powerhouse. It will announce you, so you do not have to overspray. You do not want to overspray this fragrance. You will go nose blind if you overspray. And it is a fragrance that you can use for just about any occasion. I would not wear it to events or occasions where you're going to be perspiring because it can be a bit much because it will super project once on your skin. But it is definitely a fragrance that is an attention getter. It will turn heads and it will make a statement. Let us know what your experiences have been with Majd Al Sultan. So this next fragrance is one that if you've been with me for a while in Middle Eastern Thursday, I'm sure you will recall when I first hauled it, my reaction, and then how I featured it so many times. So this one is from Emir, and this one is You're Drugged. And here is the gorgeous bottle, absolutely gorgeous. Now, You're Drugged is allegedly a fragrance that when you sniff it, and it does, it will remind you of Killian's Intoxicated. Now, let me just tell you right now, this is a spicy, boozy, with a ton of vanilla, incredible fragrance. This is the type of fragrance that will definitely be addictive. You will either absolutely love this fragrance or just not really like it much. It is a very spicy, very boozy with a ton of vanilla scent that is perfection for cold weather. But the thing about this fragrance is that as much as you will be automatically addicted to it, those around you will not be able to stop sniffing you. This is the type of fragrance that when you wear it on your skin, people next to you or people will come up to you and will want to sniff your skin because they will be like, what are you wearing? And if they know you, they'll grab your arm and they'll sniff you, and they just won't be able to stop sniffing it. That is the reaction of this fragrance. So when it's called You're Drugged or in Killian Intoxicated, this is definitely a fragrance that you need to be careful with. It is a very sexy, it is a very dark, it's not super dense, but it is a dark vibe kind of fragrance, like mysterious and alluring, just an incredibly beautiful scent, perfection for cool weather, and one of the highest attention getters ever. Definitely. I wouldn't say that people, turn around to see who walked into the room as much as they will actually chase you down, which is different. Anyway, let us know if you've tried it and what has your experience been with it. This next fragrance is one that will not require much introduction because this is a fragrance that most of us absolutely love. Now, this one allegedly should remind you of several fragrances, but I'm not even going to go there because for me, this fragrance is like a masterpiece. This is a fragrance that has been done absolutely exquisitely beautiful. But at that, this is a fragrance that will command attention. It does border on beast on my skin, but it's not even about that. It's about how the scent will pull people to you. And I am speaking about Khadlaj, and this is Empire Victor. And here is the gorgeous bottle. Now, Empire Victor opens up very, very citrusy with a very present note of, to my nose, it's bergamot and lemon, but for me, it's more lemon than bergamot. For me, this is clearly lemon. There is a ton of vanilla in this fragrance. This fragrance is all about the note of vanilla. There is some caramel. There are some white florals. I don't distinguish, now that it's been sitting for such a long time, the blend at the dry down doesn't allow me to distinguish one white floral from the next, but I can tell you that what I do get is a bouquet of white florals. I do get that caramel, and it is a musk-based fragrance to the tune of 3 to 4, more 4 than 3, where 5 is the most and 1 is the least. For sure, this is a musk-based fragrance, but at that, it is not animalic in any kind of way. This is the kind of fragrance that will definitely leave a trail. The projection is very good in this fragrance, but the sillage is where the magic happens, in my opinion, because it will leave a trail that will make people chase you, like if they're in a trance. I mean, because the scent is really incredible. And it is a fragrance that it is a joy to wear. For me, this is a fragrance that you could make your signature scent, but I'm not sure that I would go work out with it it's just a bit much, because that musk can be a bit much. And there is something about the scent profile that to me does not translate to perspiring moments, right? But other than that, you can use it for just about anything. And it is perfection for cooler weather, even though I have pulled it during warm season also. So let us know, because I know many of you are familiar with Empire Victor. What has your experience been like? Do you get quite the number of compliments when you wear it? Anyway, let us know. So this next fragrance is one that, as soon as I sniffed it, when I first received it, I sniffed it and it was an immediate love. And for a long time, I could not stop talking about it because it is really special. And this one is Teriyaki Intense. Now, Teriyaki Intense is a fragrance that has a very distinctive plum liquor note. It's not necessarily like the fruitiness of plum. It's more like a bordering on boozy kind of liquor, like plum liquor presence. That's really what I get from it. This is a fragrance that opens up with a present note of saffron. I get saffron immediately. Now that it's had a chance to sit, that opening is really, to my nose and on my skin, all about the note of saffron. But the thing about this fragrance is that it's not just a compliment getter, it is such a sexy fragrance. This is another one that is really a sexy beast. This is a fragrance that for me, it's not one that you could make your signature scent, because this for me is more of an evening into late night fragrance. This is perfection for date night. And when I tell you, you better be careful who you wear it around, because this will evoke those sensual feelings for sure. This is an incredible, incredible powerhouse fragrance. It will announce you, and it will also command attention. If you want to be below radar, if you don't want to cause much of a stir around you, then don't wear this fragrance, because that is what it does. An absolutely incredible, incredible evening into late night type of scent that will get you all of the attention, especially if you are with a loved one on a date night. It's going to be a beautiful night. Anyway, let us know what your experience has been with Teriyaki Intense. So this next fragrance is from Rosati, and this one is Jasmine Wisp. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you've heard about this fragrance time and time again, because I can't seem to stop pulling it into lineups. So for me, this is like a basic staple, affordable Middle Eastern fragrance, but at that, this could, in my opinion, rival just about any niche fragrance out there, because it is absolutely incredible. Like, it could rival a luxury designer or luxury Western niche easily. You know, the name says jasmine whisk, but the funny thing is that there are fruity notes here. There's some coconut, there's some peach if I recall correctly. There's definitely passion fruit. The passion fruit is very realistic, but the florals, you know, the white florals with the jasmine at the lead are the ones that command all of the attention. This is a fragrance that is very ambery. It is a powerhouse. It is a beast mode powerhouse. This is a fragrance that I have used for just about any season of the year, but when I've worn it in very hot weather, I do recall that I did take it on a vacation, and it was a very hot, I think when I went to Egypt, I took this with me. That was not a good idea. That was not a good idea because it projects incredibly, and it is just a bit much for you and for those around you. So for me, this is perfection for cooler weather, but of course, try it whenever you want, because at the end of the day, the scent is just beautiful, and the amount of attention it's going to get you is just incredible. Let us know what you've experienced with Jasmine Whisk, because I know many of you own it. So I'm not going to spend any considerable amount of time with this fragrance, because I talk about this fragrance every week, because I've told you I'm on a mission to get every fam member to at least get their nose on it, to at least try it, because this fragrance is so beautiful and special. I'm not going to talk much about it, but I am going to bring it up to you yet again. And this one is Lattafa Dream of Haze. I could almost hear the sighs on your end, like, oh no, not again. So here is the beautiful bottle. And Dream of Haze is one of those fragrances that I tell you, just wear it on skin, step out of your home, and you can thank me later. That's all I'm going to say today. Now, this next fragrance allegedly should remind you, and it will, of BDK Velvet Tonka. And this one is from Swiss Arabian, and this is Shagaf Oud Tonka. This fragrance, this is a must, in my opinion, for any affordable Middle Eastern fragrances collector. Unless you're not into the note of tonka and you're not into slightly lactonic and powdery at the dry down kind of fragrances, because you're going to get all of that in this incredible scent. But most importantly, this is a fragrance, this is a scent that is so captivating. First of all, it's very addictive. You're going to be addicted to it. If you fall in love with a scent, you're going to be addicted, because it is really one that you just want to sniff over and over and over. I know there's fam members that could not stop wearing it for months once they picked it up, but this is a fragrance that is so exquisite. It's not a full-on gourmand, but there's a yummy quality to it. But the most impressive part of this scent is the amount of conversation that it will generate. When you are wearing this fragrance and you approach a group, get ready, because you're going to have to explain the notes, where you picked it up, why you like it, how are they going to wear it, for what occasions they can wear it. Like, people will want to know everything about this scent, because, you know, it's not like the scent has not been done before. It's not like these notes have not been found elsewhere, but there is just something about the way that Swiss Arabian put this one together. It is just an absolutely exquisite fragrance, and it is a powerhouse, and it will announce you before you enter the room. So not only will it turn heads, but it will also command attention before you even enter the room. People will chase you down. This is one that encompasses everything related to getting attention. So on days where you just want to go below radar, this is definitely not the one to wear. Let us know if you own Shagaf Oud Tonka, and what have your experiences been when wearing it out. The next and last fragrance that I have for you today is from Afnan, and this one will not come as a surprise, because you guys know how much I love the 9 p.m. line. But between Rebel and Elixir, the one that gets me even more compliments at this point, and maybe it's because it's been with me longer, is 9 p.m. Rebel. And here is the gorgeous bottle. So 9 p.m. Rebel is a fragrance that is so addictive. I can tell you that there are some fruity notes here, but dominant is the note of pineapple. You are going to pick up on the pineapple. If I recall correctly, they have disclosed apple, orange, and pineapple. But to me, and now that it's had a chance to sit, it's more about the pineapple. There's also quite a bit of woodiness here, which adds quite a bit of character to the fragrance. And there's vanilla. I wouldn't say that it's a ton of vanilla, but it is definitely a very present vanilla. At the dry down, you are going to get an exquisitely bordering on very sexy, very alluring kind of scent, a scent that's going to get you a ton of attention. This is not a daytime fragrance, in my opinion. This is a late afternoon into the evening, into late night kind of scent, because now that it's had a chance to sit, not only is it a major powerhouse, you know, like beast mode, but it is also a fragrance that will announce you well in advance of you walking into a room. And I don't think that this is appropriate for the office, maybe for a gent, but for a lady, I just can't imagine that. This is a fragrance that has quite a bit of woodiness at the dry down. It is sweet. It has that pineapple and a good bit of vanilla, not in excess, but a good bit of vanilla. But the most impressive part of this entire line, in my opinion, is the amount of compliments that you will get when wearing it. Truly a delight to wear. Very, very nicely done scent. Let us know if you own it or if you own Elixir, and what has your experience been when you step out wearing it. All right, fam, so we've reached the end of today's video, and I hope that this was enjoyable for you, as it definitely was for me. I hope that I was able to share with you some fragrances that piqued your interest if you don't already own them. Now, remember what I've been saying. These are fragrances that you want to wear only when you are in the mood for some serious attention, because that is what you're going to get. As always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.